Hey guys, I'm Audrey and welcome to my second video! Yay! Honestly, I never thought that I would get so much feedback and such positive feedback on my video. Like, so many people watched it and liked it and subscribed, and so many people commented on it and complimented me and asked me if there will be more videos, what I plan to do. And actually enjoyed watching and listening to me while I talk about books. I never thought that more than 5 people would actually watch my video, so I was positively surprised and I was so happy, and I squealed every time that I got a comment, and it's amazing. Thank you very much for watching it and giving it a thumbs up and taking your time and writing those beautiful comments. You're awesome. Thank you. So last week I posted my US book haul video, and I thought it would be fitting to also post a video kind of like an US wrap-up, all the books that I read from July to September while I was in the US. So let's get started. The first book that I read isn't the first book that I finished reading while I was there, but it still counts as the first book that I read on my vacation, and that is The Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas. I actually didn't plan on taking this one with me, but I didn't finish it while I was still at home, and I didn't want to leave it here for 3 months and then going back and finish it, because I wouldn't be inside the story anymore, and I maybe wouldn't enjoy it as much as I would have if I had read it in one go. So I decided to take this with me, and I'm glad I did, because this book is basically a compilation, sorry if I pronounced it wrong, of 5 short stories that revolve around the main character, Selena, and it's to give more depth, I'm sorry if I pronounced it wrong as well, it's light, I'm sorry, to her character. And yeah, so I recommend reading it between Hair of Fire and Queen of Shadows, because in Queen of Shadows will be some references and some characters that have been introduced here, and have, you know, then you have more insight of those things if you have read that before. So recommending this. Yeah, I didn't finish it at first because I started the last story, and I knew from friends and some comments on Tumblr and Goodreads that it will leave you devastated, this book, and I wasn't ready for what would come, so I left it aside. But then after I finished it, the second book that I read, I picked it up again and finished it, and yes, I was really emotionally traumatized. I was devastated. I cried a bit, but it's worth it. I mean, just for the sake of Selena. The second book that I read and the first book that I finished reading was also by Sarah J. Maas, and that's A Court of Thorns and Roses. It's the first book of the trilogy that I think is called A Court of Thorns and Roses, and it has nothing to do with the Throne of Glass series. It's a complete different storyline, complete different trilogy, and it's kind of like a Beauty and the Beast retelling, but also with some minor twists, or big twists. The Beauty is Feyre, who is a huntress, and the Beast is Tamlin, who is a high fae of the Spring Court. So basically it's about Feyre, who is a huntress, and she hunts animals to provide for her family, to get them something to eat, and then to sell the fur and the skin of the animals. So she on one like hunt that she did, she killed a wolf, and it turned out that the wolf was a fae, and the high fae of that court that fae belonged to came to Feyre's home and took her because, you know, a life for a life kind of thing, and she had to live with him, yeah, or she would have died. So of course she went with him, and the beauty unfolds. So if you like retelling of tales, this is very good because it's also so different. Just like the basics of the book kind of, yeah, shows that Beauty and the Beast thing, but it's also so beautifully different and so much fiction, and I love it so much, and I can't wait for the next book to come out in May. Still a lot of months to go, but I can't wait. I actually can't wait for any book from Sarah J. Maas. I wish I could close my eyes and open it and they will magically all appear in front of me. 1, 2, 3. No. Okay, good. I have to live with this. But it's okay! There's more to come. After I read A Court of Thorns and Roses and finished the last story of The Assassin's Blade, I read All the Bright Places by Jennifer Niven. I don't know how to pronounce her name, sorry. Because I hate myself! Okay, maybe that was a bit exaggerated. I didn't hate myself when I started it. That's not the reason why I started it. But when I finished it, I kind of hated myself because it was still emotionally unstable after reading that stories. But yeah, I still read it. So basically what this is about, it's about two teenagers, Violet and Finch. They go to the same high school and they don't have the same friends and aren't, you know, the same popularity wise. They're like actually on the different ends of popularity at their school, but they end up doing a project for school together, and they have to travel to the like very famous places or places that their state is famous for, and to make a report on it. And yeah, I don't want to spoil anything, but it's such a beautiful book, and all comments that I read on Tumblr and Goodreads and everything that my friends like told me about this book did not prepare me enough for this book. Not at all. I thought I was devastated before, but I was like an emotional wreck when I finished this book. Like the last 50 pages, I was kind of in denial and I was crying really hard. I wasn't even crying anymore. I was really bawling and sobbing, and just rivers flowing down, and I couldn't stop, and that was really gross. And I'm sorry for my best friend who had to endure that. Yeah, because we stayed home that day because it was raining, and we thought, oh, we'll make a chill day. Yeah, didn't work out as chilly as I thought. But besides the emotional trauma that I went to, can we please talk about how beautiful this book is? Like seriously, this hardcover edition is everything. Like look at all those little golden stars and that little bird and that flower here, because Finch is a bird name and Violet is a flower name. So look, it's so beautiful. I mean, wow. And the story is amazing, the characters are amazing, the writing is absolutely beautiful. So I I recommend this to everyone who likes contemporaries. And honestly, I think most of the books that leave you really devastated after you finish them are the best ones. Because just, you know, getting under your skin that much that you have so much emotions just because of a story, that is really something to achieve as a writer, in my opinion. After I finished all those emotionally attacking stories, I thought I should give myself a break and start reading something that I know won't be as devastating for me. And I read Beautiful Disaster by Jamie McGuire, and honestly, this is my guilty pleasure. Like, I read that book in 2 days. I couldn't put it down, and it just I started reading it, and it just felt like I was reading a fanfiction about my OTP. Seriously, like so many fanfiction starts. This book is about Abby, who starts college, and she meets the walking one-night stand Travis Maddox, and yeah, they kind of end up doing this bet. When she wins, he has to stay absent for a month, and when she loses, she has to move in with him. I call this book my guilty pleasure because at some points their relationship is really controlling and abusive, and for myself, I wouldn't want that for me, and I would have walked away from it. But it's fiction, it's a story, and the way it's written, it's just that I couldn't root for anything else than for those two to be together, and I enjoyed it very, very much, and I liked it very, very much. And there are some things, like some minor twists that happen that I never saw coming or thought that they could come, and so that was also kind of good. This book was honestly a really good decision for me to read because it was just an easy read. It was nothing I really got emotionally attached to. It was just like a fanfiction. So, and it's new adult. Like, it's the first new adult novel that I read, and I really liked it, and I really want to read all the other books that Jamie McGuire wrote about the Maddox brothers. This will be my guilty pleasure series. But whatever. Read what you want. It's your life. Make your own choices. After that, I read High Society by Eddie Carter. It's about Kat Bishop, who has been raised in a family who does lots of heists. But when she turns 15, she wants a different life, and she kind of sneaked her way into a really, really good boarding school. But in order to save her father, she has to do the biggest heist in history. And yeah, it's a really good book. I've seen it all over Tumblr, and I got it at a thrift store, like I said in my last video. And I really enjoyed it because it wasn't anything romantic. There was no romantic, like, subplot or, you know, main point in the story. This book is more about family. It's more about staying together, and, you know, that family doesn't have to be blood to be family. And that is something really, really beautiful. And I still have to get the other 2 books of that trilogy because I'm really curious about what they are going to do next. Okay, the next book that I read is actually a reread, and that is The Host by Stephanie Meyer, aka my absolute favorite book ever. So I read this book together with Ashley, aka Sparky Loves Books, because we did a read along in mid-August. And as you can see, I took that opportunity and marked a few things in this book with sticky notes, and I also wrote in it. Like, I don't know if you can see it, but there are some annotations, some underlines. Yeah, it's like my second, like here you can see I underlined quite a lot in some places, and yeah, annotation that sometimes aren't just about, are more my reaction toward it than, you know, what I think about it. Like, here's something really sad that one of my favorite characters said, and the only thing I wrote here was, "Oh, BB, BB," because oh, my heart. But yeah, this book means so much to me. Like I said, it's my favorite book of all times. This book is about aliens that call themselves souls, and they go on different planets and kind of take them over by inserting themselves into host bodies, and like that's the only way they can live on a planet, by being inserted into a host, because they don't have like an actual body, they just are a soul kind of thing. And the soul wanderer comes to Earth and is being inserted into Mally Strider, who is one of the last humans on Earth, and the souls are trying to find all the humans and to insert their species into them to make the whole world a better place, to make it peaceful and make it more advanced. And Wanderer is being inserted into Melanie, and Melanie is still resisting, like she's still inside the body, and she shows Wanderer pictures of her loved ones, and through that kind of emotional manipulation she makes Wanda kind of falling in love with them as well. And then they search for them, and it's a wonderful story. The characters are so wonderful, and the writing is really, really good. And it's so sad because so many people avoid it because they don't like Twilight, but this is nothing like Twilight. This is something real beautiful, and I recommend it to everyone because this is just a wonderful book. And as you can see it, I love it so much. And there's this one scene that always makes me cry, always. And yeah, I think I read this book 6 or 7 times already, and I can picture myself rereading it countless times more because I just love it that much. It's not for nothing my favorite book, right? So if you've read it, or if you will read it, or if you have read it, if you have read this book, comment below and we can talk about it and fangirl because I love it. The 6th book that I read was Safe Haven by Nicholas Sparks, and I bought it because I'm a huge fan of Nicholas Sparks. I think I read about 5 books from him, minus this one, and I really like his writing. I love his romance. I'm a huge sucker when it comes to romance, and his novels are just what gives me my fix. So I'm a person, I always want to read the book first before I watch the movie, and I really want to watch the movie for quite some time. So I saw this at Barnes & Noble and it was on sale, so I immediately bought it. So basically, this book is about Katie, who's a young woman, and she moves to a small town in South Carolina, and her appearance is more, more mysterious because no one knows about her past, where she came from and whatnot. And she meets Alex, who owns a store in Southport, the town where this takes place, and he is a widow and has 2 little children, and he is kind of set upon like finding out what her mystery is, but he's also not just curious about her past, but at her as a person. I don't want anyone to be spoiled, so maybe I do a book talk on this one because I have a lot to say about this book, not emotional wise, but about this book itself, because it's really good. In my opinion, it's the best Nicholas Sparks novel I read, because it's not only romance, it's also thriller. It has lots of suspense, and yeah, I recommend this. When I read it, I was blown away because it was that good in my opinion. The next book I read was Karina Shadows by Sarah J. Maas. Yay! I can't really talk about this book without making any spoilers because it's not just that it's in the middle of the series, but it's like totally new beginning inside the series, so there is no way I could say anything that would spoiler one thing about it. The only things I can say is that I loved it so much. I'm still like filtering what to say, so I won't spoil anything. Sarah has so much talent when it comes to characters and world developing, and the development of most characters in this book is top notch. It's amazing. I know there are a lot of people who didn't like certain parts of it. I can kind of see their point, but I still think that what happened here made sense, and I loved it. If you're watching this and you did not love it and you hated it, I'm sorry, but I still think that it's a really good book, and from all the 4 or kind of 5 books that came out by the series, this is like the best one so far. I think every book that comes out is better than the one before, and that's like, it's like wow, because the first one was pretty awesome, but I think that has to say a lot about the author. But yeah, tastes are different, and people perceive this book differently. You either hate it or you love it. There's nothing in between really. That's the only thing I saw. And I was one of the people who loved it, and I'm the one of those people who can't wait for the next books in the series. And Throne of Glass, one of my favorites. I read that book in a week. I know, like lots of people are like, oh my god, you read it, you took a week? Yeah, I know, I took a week because I didn't want it to end. I mean, it's obviously like the thickest book so far, but I did not want to end this book and wait another year until the 5th book comes out. But at the same time, I wanted to know everything. I couldn't put it down, and I still wanted to put it down because I wanted to last it longer. And this is another thing. I mean, if you achieve that kind of thing as an author, that when your book comes out and people are in that in-between thing between reading it in one go and dividing it over the longest amount of time possible to make it last, then you obviously did something right, because that just shows how much the readers love your stories. The 9th book that I read was Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children by Ransom Riggs, and this is the first book of the trilogy that I think is the same name as the title, if I'm not wrong, and I could be. This book is about an orphanage that was in the 40s, in the like the time that this kind of plays, and that orphanage is end of the Second World War, and Jacob is a teenager, and it's kind of like present day, like 21st century, and he's kind of on a mission to find out more about the orphanage and the children who live there. And so he travels from the US to Wales to find more, like find out more about them. And he also finds out that against all rational thoughts, or against all rationality, those children could be still alive and children after many years. 70 if I'm not mistaken. 60, between 60 and 70, okay? This book is like really perfect for October and Halloween and fall, because it's really like kind of dark, and they have all those weird photographs in them, and I'm looking for one. Here's a good one. Looks scary. Huh? Yeah, actually did. And if you like kind of like those kind of stories where nothing is rational at all, but it's kind of present day, so like supernatural wise a bit, then I recommend this to you. And if you like creepy stuff, because some of the stuff is really creepy. But I really like this one, and I still have to read the 2nd and the 3rd book that just came out a couple of weeks ago. So the last book that I read while I was still in the US was The Red Necklace by Sally Gardner. This book is not solely historical. It also has a sequence of magic in it. So it's not what you think is really boring. It's about a gypsy boy named Jan, and he is born with a gift of mind reading and like changing his voice. So at one event he met Sido, who is the daughter of a very wealthy man who doesn't care for her, and through a conversation that they have, they kind of bond. The revolution starts in this book. It's like the book starts shortly before the revolution starts, and throughout it just goes along with the revolution. So at some points I found it like a bit dragging and a bit boring, because there wasn't really something happening what I wanted to happen. I wanted to the story to go much faster on the characters, character wise. I think it was important to have, because it was for the revolution and how much of a part it played in it, or how it progressed, or the revolution progressed, and all those things that was thrown into it. But yeah, at some points I wish it would have been better. I would say it's like a 3.5 for me, between 3.5 and 4 stars from 5, because I was really bored at some points, and I really had to force myself to keep on reading it. But in the end, it was really good, and it picked up some pace, and yeah. If you like French Revolution, read it, because Tom Hiddleston, I think I pronounced his name wrong, I'm sorry, but he read that book as well, so Why not you? If you like the French Revolution, of course, and if you like magic. So, this is it. Those are all the 10 books that I read on my vacation in the US. And what I thought about them, whatever. I hope you liked this video. If you did, maybe give me a thumbs up or subscribe. That would be awesome. And yeah, if you have any thoughts on this, or if you want to know a bit more about the books, or if you want to share your opinion about the books, feel free to comment below. I would love to hear your opinions about this. Okay, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. You're awesome. Have a great day or night or whatever time you have in your time zone. See you.